Oh, how could we forget?
We never would be. We never would be. All right. Shenanigans are live. We're live across everything.
Oh, no.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Hello,
everybody. Now, hello, everybody. Man, we got a jam-packed episode, so we are not going to spend too much time in the pre-show. We might have a little post-show fun. But pre-show, man, is going to be short.
Short pre-show.
Short pre-show because Greg and I were talking and we got all the topics.
So many.
All the topics. What's going on, everybody? I see everyone coming on in. Here we go. Here we go. Firing them off. Boop, 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 boop. It's good, everybody. Everyone getting in, make sure you find your seats. Everyone grab your seats. Sit appropriately where you normally sit.
Grab your seats.
Grab your seats, Matt. Down in front. Down in front. Some of you. How is everyone going to see? Standing up, eating popcorn. I'm going to need you guys to clean up after yourselves. Last time you left a mess. Ridiculous. Wow, 10 p.m. What the heck? Bro, this is only 2 p.m. for us. Yeah, we're going to talk Google.
Someone asked, will Jern be here? Kind of.
Kind of.
He will. You will hear spoken word from Jern. Yes. So if you're a Jern fan, I guess stick around because there is a directive from Jern that you will hear on this show.
Yes, indeed.
There is a Jern directive.
All right. Well, let's do this, guys. We are going to go live here very, very shortly because
you have everything good for multicast recording.
I don't have to do anything. My volume's down, so I'm good, and then we can hit it. Let me take one more.
Multi-track.
Yeah. See, so there's some people watching late at midnight and 12 and 10. I'm up for going earlier in the day. It actually would clear some of my later part of the day open, but Greg has some things he always needs to do in the first half of the day.
I'm a busy guy somehow. I don't know. I've talked about moving the show before though, but the last time I brought it up, people said 5 on Sunday best time. However, we do have a lot more listeners.
We have a lot more now than we did then.
So if you guys think there's a better time, I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Well, now that I think about it, I'm actually impressed that it's 10 p.m., 11 p.m. and midnight for some people, and they're actually coming live to this. So maybe we should back it up. As a matter of fact, I looked at our analytics, and the best time, I'll tell you here in a second, the best time for us to go live on a Sunday, which, by the way, we went live Thursday, so if you missed that, you should definitely go back and watch it. Let's see. The best time on Sunday to go live is actually 9 a.m. 9 a.m. my time, which is noon your time. Sorry. Actually, it's actually 10 a.m., which is 1 p.m. your time, Eastern. So it's 10 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern is technically the best time for us to go live. Very many of our viewers are on YouTube at that time. But,
I know it's a little early for me. To peel back the personal life of Greg. I'm getting out of bed at like 11 o'clock, and I don't know if I'll be ready in time it's gotta. It's rough being Greg. It's not easy when everyone's trying to cancel you. You got to get
that is true.
Sleep. Let me tell you
that part is true. I would never want to be you. Never want to be you.
Yeah. Me too. I don't want to be me.
All right, well, let's get it live because we got a lot to talk about.
All right.
We're live,
folks. We're doing it live. Get ready. Because this is going to be an episode. That is what I can tell you.
Yeah, you're trying to cancel someone too, so don't forget about that. I got to put it in my list.
Travis, I'm going to forget. But let's see. All right.
I got a list of things, but you were supposed to cancel someone big. I can't remember what it is.
Oh, it's the biggest person we can cancel. I'll just tease that. All right.
All right, here we go.
No.
In 3, 2, 1, record.
Hello, world, and welcome to the fastest growing tech podcast out there, the Gadget Cast. I am your host, Gregory McFadden, joined always by my perfect co-host, Travis MCP.
It's the perfect podcast. It's no more perfect than this podcast. It's perfect.
It's the double P, the perfect podcast.
It is.
Travis, we got to start the show off on a bit of a somber note, unfortunately.
Yes.
Listen, everyone watching, everyone listening to this audio show, you know, sometimes life deals you a hand that you got to play. And unfortunately, we've tried to keep this going for as long as possible. We've had to make some difficult decisions around here, me and Travis behind the scenes. It's personally a little bit upsetting, and we hate to do this to you, but it's been yeah. So we're just admitting defeat behind the scenes here, and it looks like it's ending. So we made regular GadgetCast t-shirts, link in the YouTube description. We made regular ones that no hashtag cancel Travis, no hashtag cancel Greg, just, you know, regular ones that you can buy, support, and also in multiple colors, not just purple. So we admit defeat. The cancel Greg and cancel Travis shirts were not popular. People don't want to be negative. So many people said, I want to buy a shirt, and then they click on the link and they're like, where's the regular shirt? Nope. So we did it. So if you want the GadgetCast shirt with the logo, it's available now. So we admit defeat, Travis. Not one of our, sometimes you have some flops. This is the fastest growing tech podcast. It is still charting above some other tech podcasts. And sometimes you don't have all the answers. So
it's fine. Listen, we tried it. It barely worked. And by the way, I'm still upset the fact if you're watching the YouTube version of this, if you're listening to the audio podcast, you're obviously not, but you should. Greg actually already has his GadgetCast shirt, which I'm really upset about. We ordered at the same time. Of course, because he created them, he gets them first. And mine hasn't shipped yet. I'm really upset about this. It makes it difficult for me to cancel Greg if I don't have my cancel Greg shirt. It's absolutely terrible. But yes, for those of you who don't, there was a lot of people who didn't want to choose sides. You no longer have to. Links in the description. You can get just a regular GadgetCast, any color you want. Well, not any color, but there's like 6 colors or 7 colors, a lot of colors. Yeah, really, it's a collector. Yeah. You better get it, Sean. Get it while you can, because
we're still gonna keep the negative shirts up for people who want them. So yes. It is the collector's edition. I gotta give Travis tremendous credit there. I did not tell him about this bit before going live on the show, trying to make it sound like we were canceling GadgetCast, and he played right along. He was fake crying and everything. This was really a moment for video.
Did you see the chat? The chat was worried.
The chat was so worried. That's why I was prolonging as long as possible. I was trying to get all the reaction in there, and people were like, "What's going on? Oh my God, what's wrong with Greg? Is everything okay?" Yeah, everything's fine. GadgetCast is fine. But yeah, the new shirts are there, available in multiple colors. I can't vouch for how they'll look on some of the colors, but purple looks good. But it's there. I put them on the colors that would best suit your taste. So go ahead and buy them, and you can support the show, and just rep GadgetCast. That's what everyone wants to do, Travis. Rep GadgetCast.
I would think so, and it's the right thing to do. It saves lives, and we don't really make hardly if any money on it. So you're not really like helping us out. We just helping us out by showing people that you love us, and that's how you help us out. That's actually more important to me than making money on shirts. 100,000%. I would be much more happy to see someone wearing a GadgetCast shirt than making the $2.50 off of the shirt that you ship before taxes. I would much prefer you to have the shirt at whatever color you want, whatever you need. We got you. It's done. It's a done deal.
Yeah, they're like $15. I mean,
yeah, that's cheap. Come on,
$15.
Speaking of podcasts and speaking of being what I still believe is the fastest growing tech podcast. Now, we were joking about the most relevant, although I think we still are. We legitimately are probably the fastest growing tech podcast. We know this for a couple of reasons, but ever since we've had Jern on, something interesting is happening with the Apple ranking system. So let me real quick explain what it is, and then of course, Rant Greg is coming. Savage Greg is going to come on and rant about this, and I'm actually going to back him up on this one. When Greg goes on a rant, I step away, but I'm actually going to back him up on this. because normally he's just crazy, but I think he's right. Here's what happens. So when John first came on a show, it definitely helped boost us up quite a bit. We got a bunch of YouTube subscribers and downloads went up. But typically when something like that happens, those people go away after that episode. That's not what happened. We've actually stayed up, which means the show is good, which is great. And right after that, that's when we started hitting the high rankings in Apple Podcasts. Now, Apple Podcasts isn't just by downloads. It's by like downloads and reviews and some other secret sauce that we don't know. But we know reviews have something to do with it, which is exactly why we've been asking you to do it. Now, why do we care more about Apple Podcasts than, say, Spotify? Two reasons. Number one, about 70% of all of our downloads happen on Apple Podcasts. And secondarily, if you do this research, over 60% of all podcast listens are on Apple Podcasts, like in the world or something like that. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yep.
So it's very relevant for us to be ranking there. Now, here's what happened. We would routinely rank somewhere in the top 50 with less downloads and less reviews than we have had over the last 2 weeks. Now, let me be clear about that. We have made it as high as 19 with less downloads and less reviews than we've had over the last 2 weeks. And over those same last 2 weeks, shortly after we had John on, we have not been able to get much higher than over 200 for a very long time. First of all, we would stay there for days, which is not the way that works. And to add more fuel to the flames, the number 2 ranked tech podcast for a long time was John's, as he puts out Recycle Bin. He puts out another Recycle Bin. And where is he at there, Greg?
He is at the cursed number of 201.
Which is ridiculous.
2 to 201.
No.
Dropping all the way down. And it wasn't like a gradual drop off like you might expect. Like, oh, he's number 2, he's number 10, he's number 30. 2 to 201 in the blink of an eye. And listen, I told you we would be canceling someone big today. I think we got to go after Apple.
Yes.
I think we got to target I hate to say it. We might have to get the GadgetCast army against the biggest tech company out there. I'm a little scared. I don't know if I should say that. I think Apple might be after us. They're trying to, I think Apple is trying to cancel us.
Now think about this. And again, this sounds really crazy, but think about it. With the amount of downloads and reviews we've had, at one point we stood at the exact same ranking at 200 for like 3 or 4 days. Now, to let you know that that's practically impossible because the rankings change during the day multiple times. We've seen ourselves go from like 30 to 50 to 70 in the same day. Yet for 3 or 4 days straight, we were at 200, which is impossible, literally impossible. And then it happens to Jern. Now, what do we know about Jern and Apple? What do we know about Jern and Apple?
Connect the dots, people. Follow the money. And I think I think we're blowing, forget Bendgate, forget Antenna Gate. This is Jerngate. I don't know. Is this Jerngate?
Is it Jerngate? It's Apple Jerngate. It's Apple Juice Gate.
Podcast Gate. Podcast suppression Gate. Listen, there's a lot of great tech podcasts out there. I don't want to pick on any of them, but come on, Coltcast being number 70 ranked right now. Come on. Their tagline is America's favorite Apple podcast, the Coltcast. And Erfan, if you're listening, you don't deserve that number 70 ranked spot. So I don't know. I know Erfan's a little bit of a conspiracy theorist like us. So I think he's in on it, but they've been mentioning John Prosser too. So I don't know. I think we got to go through the list of all these top 200 Apple podcasts and kind of, I think we got to cancel all of them one by one. So I'm going to name a couple here that are, their days are numbered. Tech League Now by CNET. What do you got? Number 163 with 9 ratings. Seems a little bit fishy. Seems a little bit fishy to me. I don't know. You tell me, Travis. Tech Trends with JP Morgan and Chase. The big banks are getting in on tech podcasts, Travis. Come on. Follow the money, folks. Follow the money. What do we got here? The UX podcast. Modern Workplace with Microsoft. Come on. No one's listening to that. Who listens to that? 15 ratings. Travis, they've been making this podcast from 2017 to 2020.
Wait, hold on. How many ratings do they have? And they've been doing it for how long?
15 ratings from 2017 to 2020. It is a Microsoft podcast. It is by Microsoft, the company. It is publisher Microsoft, Modern Workplace. Listen, we are blowing the lid off all this. I have never seen these podcasts on the top 200, and I think these are all filler podcasts just to get us and Jernzo off it. So
terrible.
I'm not picking on these people. These podcasts might be great, but
just a reminder, Greg, how many reviews do we have that are 5 stars? I mean, we have how many?
128 5-star reviews. Okay.
Oh,
okay. We're not. And Recycle Bin, they got like I think they're like 2,000 5-star reviews after that lead.
Good God.
So, GadgetCast and Jern and Recycle Bin, it is a eternal alliance. I'm comfortable saying that, Travis. It's an eternal alliance. So, if Recycle Bin goes down, we go down.
Yeah.
It goes together. So we're willing to fight and die on this hill. I know.
You can go ahead and die. I'm going to do other things. All right. So we got a bunch of different things to talk about. Obviously, the new shirts we just talked about. We talked about the ridiculousness that Apple is. We will also be talking about Apple more in depth a little bit later on. But before we do, we wanted to talk about something in the last live stream that we missed, and we will not miss it now, which is the Google Pixel information, where a couple of their very important people, well, at least one, at least off the bat, and then the second one was, I think he followed suit afterwards, from the Pixel project left. We don't think they were fired. We think they left, correct?
Yeah, it seems that they have left, but I mean, how some of these high positions work in like the corporate world. You might be given a chance to leave and have that kind of on your resume instead of saying getting fired. It's a little kind of courtesy of like, hey, we don't want you here anymore. You could just say you left, and if not, we'll fire you kind of thing. But it could also just be like, this is a crazy story. We teased this actually on the special Thursday GadgetCast. If you didn't listen to that, we had a special Thursday episode, so go back and listen to that. We kind of took some time to thank the listeners and viewers of GadgetCast. So it was a really fun one. So yeah, this is crazy. This is a crazy story. So the two people you're referencing is Mark Lavoie and Mario. Oh man, I'm gonna butcher this name.
Go for it. Kierkegaard.
Cures?
All right, settle down.
Cures? I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. Cancel me. Mark Lavoie, who is that guy, I think it was like that guy who was given like the camera technology demo on stage for the last Pixel 4. He was that guy going through like all like the computational photography stuff. And the story's crazy because they left. And the story goes like this, and I have to read this direct quote. I'm on Ars Technica right now reading this direct quote. I'm not sure if this is where it originated from, but so this is from Ars Technica. I'm just gonna read this whole paragraph. The Pixel 4 has not been a huge success. It sold less than the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3a. In its first 2 quarters, Osterlo was not confident about the device in the lead up to launch either. The report says that ahead of the Pixel 4 October launch in New York, Osterlo called an all-hands meeting and shared his misgivings about the phone. He reportedly did not agree with some of the decisions made about the phone, and that in particular, he was disappointed in its battery power. Osterlo runs the Pixel team, so this reporting gives some insight into his management style. And this is, again, Ars Technica saying this. For a Steve Jobs type, approving these kinds of broad directions would be a big part of his day-to-day decision-making. Osterlo apparently is a more hands-off delegator. This was the guy in charge of the phone. Now they're saying, they go on later to say that they estimate that they only sold 2 million Pixel 4s. 2 million. And that's like half of what they sold to the Pixel 3. The fact that you have this team and if the Pixel is known for anything, it is known for the great photographs you can get out of that still camera. And the people leading that team, the people leading that computational photography effort, they changed the entire smartphone camera game because people were not talking about computational photography the way they are today unless you have the Pixel leading that effort. You look at all the stuff that Apple's doing now, and you have to say that even though Pixels don't sell that well, they have had a place in the smartphone game, moving it forward in a certain direction, which is kind of crazy given how few some of these Pixel units are selling. But they have certainly changed the development of these smartphones, I think. And this guy leaving is crazy because the number one thing that most people tell you about a Pixel phone is the camera on it is really good.
Yeah, you'll want to put that link to the article in the show notes and stuff, because I think it's important for people to read through. It is a big deal. At the end of the day, like, the one thing they're known for is their camera and little else. And I actually talked about Pixel several times and saying that they're kind of not exactly relevant. And I don't believe that they're exactly well cut out for the flagship game. I'm just going to say it. I believe they are an excellent budget to mid-level phone. Beyond that, they're either clueless or mismanaged or whatever the heck, trying to do maybe too many cooks in the kitchen. I don't know. At the end of the day, they are good for some things and not for the top end. And those sales numbers prove it. They really do.
It is crazy that, like, I just can't get, like, this whole story to me is just crazy that they would be that hands off. And like the guy, like, the phone's done and he walks in and goes, yeah, you messed this up. The battery life isn't good on it. And it's like, but it's like out, like, we're launching it. What are you talking about? I can't believe, like, he's right though. Like, the battery life on the normal size Pixel 3 especially was like really bad. But it's crazy to me that they would take that approach of not I would think that Google would be like all hands on deck, like, hey, we really want to make this Pixel a success. And you can kind of see by this mismanagement why the phones are the way that they are, why they seem so unfocused, why they're willing to change their design so rapidly from one year to the next year. And yeah, it's not saying good things about whatever future Pixels are coming out, especially now that you got rid of this guy who, I mean, there's a lot of people who work on these kinds of features, but the guy kind of behind this whole computational photography system that people seem to love about the Pixel.
So there's a comment in the chat, which I was actually going to go over. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Google Pixel camera physically isn't good. They just have good software for it, which is true. And that's why in some of the review I did of the whatever this phone is, the Redmi 9S, and I actually talked about this on Twitter as well. I use what's called the Gcam APK, which is the software for the Google Pixels. They basically got a bunch of people on XDA and stuff basically ripped the app from the Pixel phone and then put it on the phones that had what you would think are terrible cameras. But the cameras aren't any different, really, in a lot of instances, than the Pixels. It's the software that does all the incredible magic. And when you put that onto an Android phone that's compatible, which most of them are, you get some Pixel-like pictures, which means they're not doing anything special with the camera. They're doing it with the app. Now, they could license that to some of the other vendors if they wanted to, which I think would be a smart idea. Plus, there's things that are Pixel exclusive features like that, where the call screening, which is really awesome, like all those really cool things to help level up Android. But for right now, they're taking all these great features and keeping it to themselves for no good reason. They're selling barely any phones. Like you said, was it like 2 million for the Pixel 4, which means double of that maybe for the Pixel 3. So if you put all the Pixel 3 and Pixel 4 sales together, you haven't even sold as many as like one Galaxy S10 from like a year ago. Like it's not even close. This is a joke. And for them to do that is they need to be pushing Android forward by bringing this software out and giving it to the Android manufacturers. Don't worry about trying to get Pixel to be the next thing. It's not going to be. It's not happening, Google. Just give it up. I'm sorry. It's over.
Yeah. But man, it is an interesting story. And, you know, people are asking about our opinions in the chat. I saw about Pixel 4a, Pixel 5. I mean, it's kind of hard to have opinions on stuff that aren't out yet. I'm excited for the Pixel 4a. If it's going with the same strategy of the Pixel 3, it's probably going to end up being a good phone again. But it's impossible to know that until it's actually out. For the Pixel 5 and stuff, the only thing I remember about that is some of the early renders that John Prosser showed on Front Page Tech. It looked like a weird design on the back of it. So I don't know if they're sticking with that or if they're going with something different. But Google does have a lot of initiatives going forward. Like they are trying to make their own system on a chip like Apple. and some other things that they have. They did the project solely this year with the Pixel 4, which personally, in my review, I said was a big misstep, at least for this year, because the features it enabled didn't work reliably. It would work like 70% of the time, maybe. And that's not good enough for a gesture system to work like that. It needs to work like 99% of the time. Otherwise, people are just going to get frustrated. They're going to forget that it exists. Like, people with Siri, right? They don't know that you can do some certain things now, and they'll never know, because when the first time they used it, they had an awful experience with it. So it's the kind of same thing here with these hand gestures, which looking at past smartphones, that's something that people cannot seem to get right. Hand gestures on phones. It just never works out well.
I got some hand gestures for you, Greg. I do want to say that shout out to the over 100 people that are watching us in the live stream, which is really, for a channel our size, is incredible. I'm just super happy that we've been able to become, again, the fastest growing tech podcast. Now back to Google before we wrap this up, because Google's about as relevant as their phones at this point. Stop it, young people. We don't need this. If Google really wants to, and I don't think they do at this point, but if they really wanted to have their operating system really compete against iOS, they would make it easier for all of the operating systems to be updated at the same time, much like Apple, and I know that there's manufacturers like to put their own stank on top of it, but let's get real. You need to be able to buy a phone on the latest operating system the day you buy it. Number two, all this computational coolness that they're doing, start spreading the love. Let's do it. We got a super chat here by Matt. Matt saying, this is to help Travis get his Purple People Eater shirt. I've already ordered it, Matt. They just haven't sent it. We need to figure out what's going on with Teespring. Hate them.
You gotta experience the live chat once if you are a audio listener on GadgetCast. Someone just says Greg is still canceled. 3 devil faces. Jay, come on. I love reading the chat, and my confidence just slowly dwindles.
But here's the funny thing for people who don't know how the Greg is canceled thing started. It actually started when Greg and I, before we had the podcast, actually, this goes way back. We were joking on Twitter, I think it was, that we should start a beef. And I was like, because there was a bunch of drama going on YouTube, and we're like, well, that's how everyone's getting these subscribers, or they have all this drama. So I said, well, let's do a fake Twitter beef. Well, I'll come in, I'll say something, right? So then Greg puts out a video, and I go into the comment section to just troll. I'm like, cancel Greg. This is a terrible video, something like that, right? Well, Greg, little to my knowledge, had actually shouted me out in the video, which is kind of hilarious timing. And he goes, well, I just shouted you out. And I go, Greg, this is not how you start a beef. Like, stop in the comment section. So I go, cancel Greg. That's how it started.
Of all the videos for you to start that on, it was the one I actually mentioned your name. Like, Travis is a great guy. It's a good channel.
But yeah, I didn't know that. I was just trying to come in. We said we were going to start anyway. Who cares? Cancel Greg.
Elijah in the chat says Greg buys fake fans. I wish.
Oh yeah, I can believe that.
Hey, if I had money, I would. So, don't put anything past me. I would do it if I had the money. So, unfortunately, all my fans are real. So
yeah, all the ones
all the hashtag Greg's goons out there, they're real and they're coming for you. So you better watch out.
Let's real quick. I'm going to go into, because I saw someone ask about this earlier, and I want to make sure I got into it because I forgot it last week. I got my AirPod Pros, and I said I was going to give my review. I'm going to give a real quick review of them, and I compared them against the only other earbuds that I think are really worth buying, which are the Soundcore Liberty 2 Air Pros. I think they're like $150 normally, but you can get them for a lot less than that when they're on sale. And okay, so there's a couple of cool things about the Pros, as you've heard. They're pretty easy to if you had fake fans, wouldn't you have more subs?
Yeah, that got me. That's such an insult in more ways than one.
If you're listening to the audio podcast, you got to be here live. There's 117 people watching right now, and we are having a blast in the chat. Okay. But anyway, the AirPod Pros. So I was able to get a hold of them. I was able to play with them. Of course, they're easy to pair up, all that shenanigans, right? I will say a couple things. Number one, the noise canceling is legit. Everyone you've heard about that is 100% right. Number two, the audio playthrough, what is that? Sound aware, whatever they call it, pass through transparency is absolutely legit, incredible. Sound quality is fine. It's kind of flat. It's not bad. But the volume wasn't very loud. I found that the volume on my Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros were really, was it the other way around? No, I think it was the AirPod Pros that were louder, which I was kind of surprised by. But overall, I like the sound quality of the sound cores better. But I suppose if you are looking for a good all-around earbud, it's them. But I also had the regular AirPods, got those in, and the sound quality, this kind of surprised me, wasn't dramatically different between the two when I was listening to music. I was expecting like a night and day. It was like a night and early morning difference for me personally.
So yeah, yeah, I really like AirPods Pro. It's all about the integration, like you said, when you have all these different Apple devices switching between them really quickly. I think the noise cancellation on them is good. Like you said, transparency mode is nice and stuff like that. But you're right about the audio quality. It's not like the best audio you've ever heard in your life, but it's a good combination of all those factors, making it a good product. So I really like AirPods Pro a lot, but I'm pretty sure people know that. Man, such a jam-packed show. We gotta keep moving along. I think now is a good time though to before you start moving on to the rest of the show. Before I forget, to be honest with you, you know, I know there's a lot of Jern fans in the chat, Travis, and we're given. You know, we talked to Jern. He's a very busy guy. You know, all right, let's be honest. He begs us every week to be on the show. You know, we gotta keep him at arm's length and go, you know, Jern, you know, every once in a while you can come on. But, you know, he just kept begging and begging and begging. So, you know, we said, all right, Jern, we'll give you your own corner, a Jern's corner to, you know, a 1-minute rant about whatever you want. I told him it didn't have to be about tech. Apparently this week he went with tech though. So,
okay. I
think this is relevant though to the AirPods Pro discussion. And you ready to hear Jern's corner?
Let's do this.
All right. Here is Jern's corner. We need some fancy graphics next time.
So Travis and Greg decided to give me my own segment on GadgetCast. That was a mistake. So in today's edition of Jern's Corner, I need your help. So here's the thing, right? I have been paying for both Apple Music and Spotify for years, but I've only used Spotify. I've only been using Spotify. Now, before you ask why I pay for both but only use one, just hush, okay? All right? I gotta explain myself to you. It's none of your business. Listen, my question is Apple Music or Spotify? Every time I have tried to use Apple Music, it gets too confusing and it's scary, and I run right back into the safety of Spotify's loving digital embrace. So I have decided that the only way I'll truly give Apple Music a try is if I temporarily cancel Spotify, so that I just have to use Apple Music. I just have to get used to it, and I can't run back to Spotify if I get frustrated or if I get scared. So that's my question. What do I do? Do I stick with Spotify, or do I give Apple Music a fair try? You tell me, GadgetCast. Back to you, Travis and Greg.
Thank you, Jern, for joining us, and thank you. So, Jern wants to know Spotify or Apple Music. Yeah, I mean, what do you use, Travis?
I don't use either one, so I'm the wrong person to ask.
You're not a streamer.
I don't listen to a lot of music, but when I do, I actually use Amazon. But there's a reason for that. I actually built up my library originally many years ago when you could upload any music you wanted to Amazon's cloud, and they would mix it in with their music service. So it was a no-brainer for me because I had a bunch of MP3s and stuff already. So I was able to upload it and get it going. We'll have to get people in our chat to tell us what they think, and let's vote it up.
Spotify. I'm seeing Tidal. I'm not even seeing. Oh, there's an Apple Music. There's a lot of Spotify. Someone likes YouTube Music. Viper with Apple Music all the way. You know, I use Apple Music if people care what I use. My main reason for using Apple Music is the integration into the Apple Watch, so you can stream and stuff. I don't think Spotify has that yet. They came out with like an Apple Watch app and it was like download only. But I like that integration with Apple Music there.
Yeah, I think the easy answer is if you're using an iPhone, much like anything else, just use.
I don't know if it is an easy answer, because Spotify has some features that people like really like. So I don't know if it's that like easy of an answer, because Spotify is like very social, right? So there's some social features there that make people just want to use it. I'm not a social guy, so.
Well, but Spotify has from what I understand, a really good algorithm for finding new music. Yep. So I guess that has something to do with it. But he says he's only been, so Which one did he say he was gonna not stop using?
He said he's going to give Apple Music a fair shake. He has been using Spotify up until now. So,
well, I think like anything else. So I actually did a video today on my channel about switching from Android to Apple, and I talked about the good and the bad of that, and that there's a rough period at the beginning, and I would expect this to be no different. That at first it might be a little bit rough, but you need to hang in there and see if it actually eventually catches on. So I would say, what, at least 30 days he's got to do it.
He's got to do it for 30 days. I told him to try out the Apple Watch integration. Some behind the scenes stuffs. I don't know. This is like a leak. We got a John leak. John recently just got AirPods Pro, and he likes them a lot. So I said, try the Apple Watch integration with the AirPods. The way you can just switch over to your Apple Watch instantly from the iPhone. You don't even have to go hit connect again. So it's a really.
Wait, what? Say that again. What happened?
You can. So if you're wearing AirPods,
yeah,
on your iPhone, if you have an Apple Watch and you have like music or something load up on there, you just play it on the Apple Watch. It'll instantly switch over. You don't even have to go like tap connect. Oh,
whoa.
Yeah. It's next level integration with the Apple Watch.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's seamless. So yeah, let us know what you thought of Jern's Corner. Did you like that? Did you like the corner segment? Is that something we should keep in the show?
I like it. I thought it was cool. Plus, he used good audio, which I love.
He sounded better than us, and I was getting a little intimidated, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna, next time I'm gonna, like compress that, load it up on like a 16 kilobyte file, and we're gonna make him sound really bad. We're gonna make him sound like he was recording from his bathroom. We're gonna have to lower down that audio quality just a little bit.
So real quick, someone had a question about the Apple Watch 6. Didn't you do a video about something like that recently? I thought you did. I could be wrong.
I've done videos on the Apple Watch Series 6. What was the question?
Just any news about it, I believe is what it was.
Yeah, there's well, if you listen to GadgetCast, you know that the Apple Watch Series 6 is going to have some mental health features, helping you deal with like your anxiety and stuff like that. There's also some rumors of like sleep tracking. But yeah, there's some news on the Apple Watch Series 6 for sure.
Cool. Yeah, Jern's Corner needs a sponsor, especially since we don't have one.
Me and Travis, we should have. We probably could have went to anyone. We probably could have went to anyone and be like, hey, we got a Jern's Corner from John himself. We could have sold him out, but we didn't do that. Yeah,
no kidding. So thanks everyone for participating. If you like us, leave a comment. Of course, I would say you can email us. Don't even bother. Just check us out on Twitter, Real GadgetCast. And of course, leave us a good review. And you also can leave us voicemails, which we will play on the show. Just go to our Anchor channel. If you just go to gadgetcast.net, you actually can go and leave us a voicemail, which we will play on the show. We haven't done one of those in a while.
People are saying my mic is dirty in the chat.
It looks sprinkly.
It is, but that's just the finish of the microphone, I think. I'm gonna just put out a prank. I don't know. I like my dirty mic, so
you should.
Whatever. I'm keeping this dirty mic. I'm gonna make it dirtier for next show.
You should. We looked at all the things we were gonna talk about. I'm actually surprised. We are probably gonna be able to get all through these, but let's talk real quick about the interesting situation that Apple finds itself with China. So here's what is going on. As you may know, last year, the U.S. said some things about some Chinese companies and then put them on a naughty list, so that Santa Claus wouldn't go see them, and would not allow them to sell a lot of things in America and a bunch of other things. Right. So this is the thing. Now the question is, what was China going to do about it? Well, now China's like, look, you need to take us off the naughty list because we're going to put you on a naughty list, which would affect companies such as Apple in a very significant way. Now, number one, Apple doesn't sell it. I guess they do sell quite a number of devices in China now. They didn't used to. It was a struggle at first. They had a hard time with that, but it looks like it's starting to actually work. If they were to take away China, that's a huge potential market for them, so that would be bad. Obviously, they get their stuff made over there, so that would be bad. I don't know how that would even work. That would be terrible for them. But the flip side of that is a lot of business for China comes from some of the companies that they're looking to kick out, like Google and Boeing not Google, but maybe Google too, Apple and Boeing and some of these other companies that are American based. They get a lot of their stuff made in China, which means if you kick them out, you no longer have that business. So it's almost like jumping off the top of a building to be upset with someone who made the sidewalk. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, this is one of those decisions that could definitely do some like short term benefit for China, I think. But I think like long decision, it will be a horrible, horrible decision for them because so many companies right now are actually just looking at what everything's going on. Man, I'm getting distracted by the chat. Uh, Listen, there people are already looking to get out of China right now with everything that just went on with them. You know, they basically cover whatever you just think about time frames and stuff like that. They did cover up the fact that this virus thing was a problem on their end, and they were trying to downplay it as much as possible because they did want to, appear like they had everything under control. They didn't want people to worry about the economy, and you can see that there is still shipping delays and stuff. Even now, there are still shipping delays, and people are seeing that having all of your eggs in one basket, it's not a good idea. You don't know what's going to happen. It couldn't be a virus. It could be anything. A natural disaster could hit where those factories are, and you could be offline for a long time. Now, I saw a report earlier this week saying that Apple was looking to move production already away from China now. They want to move it over to India, and they're looking to move as much as 20% of its production that it's doing in China right now over to India. And that is a lot of production. Now, like Travis is saying, the Chinese market for Apple is actually really important. They've been doing pretty good over there. To lose all that business overnight would definitely it would hit the stock market hard. I'm sure they'd be fine as a company just considering how much money they have, and they'd still make plenty of profit from every other country in the world, but it would be a huge hit to the company. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like if China did that, they might have some short-term victory, okay, more sales of their own phones in China. It's a huge market. They could punish the US. Maybe that would, depending on how strong the US is on their position of keeping Huawei out, Apple might have tremendous influence over the US government and go, hey, we want to sell in China still. You got to let Huawei sell here. So there's all that other stuff that could go on, the company, Apple, the company might pressure the US to be like, hey, you got to revise your Huawei thing because we want to sell in China. But I think the long-term damage of China doing that is not only Apple moving production away, but a lot more people moving production away because they're going to be like, what if we're next? We don't want to be next. What if China's like, oh, you can't make this now here because we still want Huawei to do that, So yeah, I think it's a slippery slope. I don't think they should do it.
I think it's a threat. I can't imagine them actually really going through with it because it's, again, cutting their nose to spite their face. And I don't know. But listen, China, like someone said in the chat, China might do it just because, and just to prove a point and suffer through for a while. Then that would make a lot of these companies pressure the American government to make some changes and settle down and all that stuff. But so someone in the chat says China needs us more than we need them. That may or may not be true. We definitely can manufacture things outside of China, but we can't do it at a price that China charges. So, and with our economy being really weak right now, this is probably the best time they can make this threat, because obviously when people get back to work, they're only going to have money for inexpensive things for the most part. I don't know. It's interesting.
It's one of those things that's really complex. In a way, both countries kind of need each other. If you really look into it, both countries really need each other. In the US and stuff, US manufactures a lot of food, and we ship a lot of food over to China for them to sell. So this could just be a never-ending war of oh, you're going to do this to our product. Well, hey, say goodbye to all this, meat and corn. You know what I mean? It could just go that way too. That's why these things get dangerous. And then when you back countries into corners and stuff like that, it could lead to some pretty awful things happening. So I don't know what's going to go on.
So here's the interesting thing. When you said food, I couldn't remember. So last episode we do this thing called the post show. For people listening on audio, I don't know it's hard to understand this, but because I can't remember, I can't separate the two. When we stop the recording of the podcast, we do something called the after show on YouTube. And we talk about a lot of just random stuff. Last episode, we talked about cereal, which is why when you said food, it immediately cereal popped into my head. And I have no idea if that's on the podcast or that was only on the post show. But As soon as you said that, I'm like, we're probably shipping a bunch of Cocoa Puffs over there to China. I don't know if that's really the truth or not. But if you were in the after show, you know how I feel about Cocoa Puffs. I don't know if that was on the podcast or not. You'll have to go to youtube.com/GadgetCast to watch that if you're curious.
What is what's China going to do without their Cocoa Puffs? They might survive without the iPhone, but without Cocoa Puffs, I don't know. They might be.
I think they'll be better off without it. I already made my point.
Well, Travis is very anti-American, as you can tell from that.
That's completely not true. I am anti-Cocoa Puffs. I think Cocoa Puffs are garbage. Okay.
Cocoa Pebbles, to be fair.
Fruity Pebbles are good.
No, Cocoa Pebbles are better.
Fruity Pebbles, bro. All right. Let's get into this next.
I canceled Travis.
It's not happening. Yeah, we'll get it. Oh, and there's another thing we do. We do every once in a while. We don't do it all the time. So this is something, if you listen to an audio podcast and you want to engage with us more, we actually do something called One Question Go, which is inspired by a YouTuber named KSI, where we actually bring people onto the live stream and they ask a question and then we talk about it. That is never on the audio podcast. If you're interested in seeing that, you can go to our YouTube channel to see more of that. Okay, I do real quick want to talk about a video that Renee Ritchie did recently. Now, Renee is definitely a friend of both of ours. I have never seen him in chat though, so I don't know if he's watching or not. He usually lets himself known when he's watching something, so I'll assume he's not here. But I just watched one of his videos, and it was a couple days ago that he had a podcast interview with Walt Mossenberg. And Walt, if you don't know, is a well-known tech journalist from years ago. I mean, he's been around for a long time, and he had a really interesting take on the iPhone SE. So the video is the 1 month later kind of review-ish by Renee on the iPhone SE. Well, it kind of got off into this really interesting direction that I did not expect, and I think Renee even said in his video that he did not expect that. Renee was happy to see so many tech creators giving the SE props for what it was, and that it could be something really cool and great because it's a low price iPhone with all that stuff. And then Walt came on, so he spliced in a bit of his podcast with Walt, and Walt started talking about, and I may have lost the plot on this, I'll be honest, because I started hearing what he was saying and I'm going to completely disagree with what he's saying. He mentioned that tech creators, and he has to be talking about YouTubers because he's on, maybe not, he's on a podcast, so maybe he's not talking about tech YouTubers, but he really implied heavily that he was talking about tech creators. And to my knowledge, he has to be talking about YouTubers, where he says that we need to put ourselves in the shoes of the average consumer, which I try to do on my channel. I really do. But he really went down the rabbit hole on this, and I think he went way too far. He started talking about his wife, who has I think the original SE, and she's going to get the new SE, and how she decided by that, but doesn't even want the 4.7 inch. She wants like a 4.0 inch and all this other stuff, and that we need to put ourselves in like that person's shoes. And that's when I was like, no, Walt is disconnected. And I don't want to say this in a disrespectful way, but he's completely disconnected. If he's talking about YouTubers, he's so wrong on this. I don't even know where to start. Now, if he's talking about other journalists and stuff who write in papers and stuff, okay, because there's a big difference between a newspaper and a YouTube channel. The audience is completely different. Okay, let's be clear. Number one, a newspaper you could pick up for other news. And you could come across a tech page where any average person, whatever, could come across your article, maybe read it. Oh, the new iPhone's out, cool. On YouTube, if you're looking at an iPhone SE review, it is very likely you are at least someone interested or somewhat kind of curious or even have knowledge of tech. The person who buys a newspaper and is completely not tech oriented is not going to YouTube and watching tech videos. They aren't doing that. So his format was like, I think, newspapers and magazines. Is that right? Am I right or wrong? And online for like newspaper. Is that right or wrong? Like his past.
He did
during his career.
He did a column for the Wall Street Journal, but he did a lot of online stuff too, with online publications, All Things D. He did video conferences there too, and he was on The Verge late in his career.
Yeah, what it sounds like, and I could be wrong, it sounds like he's advocating for us to really dumb down stuff Although he later would say, and don't talk down to them, which I agree with that, to a point where we're going to get roasted by our comment section because no one comes there for absolute. Matter of fact, I get some comments that I get too basic. I'm trying to get just tech enough, just basic enough to satisfy a lot of people. What he was saying was go below that. And you don't do that. That's not the YouTube audience. To say that is to not understand what the YouTube tech audience is. So I disagree with that presupposition of that tech YouTubers need to kind of, I don't want to say dumb down, but that's kind of what he was saying in a very simplified way, their content to people who are just walking down the street, because those people walking down the street are not watching tech YouTube videos. End of story. What do you think?
I might have to take the different approach on this one.
All right.
Number one, I think your overall argument, it could work for sure. But I think you're discrediting Walt in a way too, because he said there is a tech enthusiast audience.
Yes.
And you could definitely say that you have a tech enthusiast audience. I don't think he wasn't saying don't serve the needs of the tech enthusiasts, because there's two different audiences. Walt was famous for taking the stuff that was even way more complex back when he started. It was way more complex than what we're even talking about today. But he took that down and boiled it down and was able to pass on this information to the average consumer. And again, this is time. During his time, he had the most popular tech column. So he was able to do that during his time. And I think technology back then is way, way more complicated than it is today. Way more complicated, less normal everyday people used it. Every single person in the world has like a smartphone now. So even if they're not, super into it or whatever, they're actually using that technology, where back in the day, not everyone had a desktop or a laptop in their home. It just wasn't there. Not everyone was connected to the internet. So he has some valid points in that argument, but he also said I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think he downplayed the tech enthusiast crowd as much. There's a place for it there, but he was saying like, there's this big segment missing now where people don't talk too much to the average consumer.
Right.
And I think that's what he was really kind of.
And I would say that even that's wrong on YouTube, because the average person who's walking into their Sprint or T-Mobile store to buy the newest phone and say, what kind of phone do you have for $500, has no idea that there are tech YouTubers. Never heard of MKBHD, never heard of Jonathan Morrison. They have no idea who those people are. So to talk to that person makes no sense. They're not watching the video.
So I don't know if he's going after YouTubers directly. I assume they are also part of his scope. I don't know if it's a direct thing. I think he's going after his own colleagues a little bit at The Verge. That was the last place he worked. And if you go read some of their more recent reviews and stuff like that, it mentions a lot of technical stuff that really...
So maybe that's what he's referring to. Maybe that's
like MacBook Air, and they're like the rendering times on it. And, for him, he never reviewed Pro products. He would never review the MacBook Pro. He would review the MacBook Air. And to be fair, I talk about rendering times in the MacBook Air too, because I know I have a dual audience, and I'm trying to explain to them don't think of it. I'm trying to explain to them, don't think of it like this product. It's just an everyday laptop. But the Pro product should be reviewed by professionals, and then the everyday products, there is, and I think this is true. I think there is this kind of translation layer that is missing, where obviously, like if you have a publication like The Verge, the same guy who's reviewing the MacBook Air is the same guy who's reviewing the MacBook Pro. Is that necessarily the right call when you have a huge audience like that? Because obviously the MacBook Pro is better for us, right? Us doing our work, the MacBook Pro is the better machine. If we don't have if we can't step outside of our own bubble and actually look at the MacBook Air as a laptop for your neighbor or for your parents or something like that, you're doing a disservice to them. I think we saw this a lot with the iPhone SE. We saw a lot of creators just going, what's the point of the iPhone SE? Who's this for? And you kind of have to step out of your own little bubble and look at it and go, well, for someone who doesn't want like a modern iPhone design, who doesn't care, they just want a solid phone and they don't want to spend a lot of money for it, $400, hey, there's really nothing wrong with it. Now, if you're talking to the tech enthusiast crowd, they might get really upset by that. Like, what are you talking about? Look at the bezels on it. Oh, it doesn't have the latest Face ID. It doesn't, there's features missing that I want. And it's like, oh, it's the battery life on it. It's not. I can't play a bunch of games on it and stream video all day on it. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's kind of not the phone for you. So yeah, but I would also say, and I'm sorry, I'm going long here. I would also say that I think more average people are watching YouTube than maybe you might think.
No, they are watching YouTube.
Yeah.
But they're not watching tech YouTube. There's a big difference between that.
I think they are watching tech YouTube.
I don't think they are. So here's the thing. There are enthusiasts. If I'm watching, so here's the thing. As someone who watches a tremendous amount of YouTube, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was the only way I was able to cut the cord. It was really it. I watched tech YouTube because I was interested in tech. The people we're talking about now, in fairness to Walt, he was talking on a podcast that he may not have known was going to end up on a YouTube video. I don't know if he knew that or not. Like, I don't know. So the context is actually really important there. And I actually couched this whole thing by saying, I'm not sure if he even knew what, kind of who with the audience he was talking to, or even if I'm understanding what he's saying correctly. It's possible that he might actually agree with what I'm saying. My point is that there's a tremendous amount of people who do watch YouTube. We know this. We also know that they watch cat videos and food videos and stuff. And some people who are kind of mid-tech level will look at YouTube to find a review on something. And those are the people that I actually do my videos for. The people that are kind of have a little bit of tech knowledge and maybe don't have a lot of tech knowledge. Like, I try to put it all in there, which is why I have like a little bit of humor in there and all that stuff. I talk to them, right? The people that are the everyday man. However, the same people that don't know that there's a new update on their phone, that don't know that there's a new iPhone, that don't know what a megapixel is, they don't know any of those things, are not on YouTube looking at YouTube videos. The vast majority of people that are buying phones are not on YouTube. They're watching YouTube videos, I should say, of tech.
For the first time in GadgetCast history, I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat supporting me and my argument, Travis.
Oh no, this is terrible.
So listen. I think, and it's very easy to mistake this. I think there are normal people, the people you're mentioning, who are watching tech videos on YouTube. I think they are an entirely different audience than what you're used to. I know for a fact that I have them in my audience. I can tell by some of the comments they leave and some of the things they ask me in my videos. We run a little bit of different channels. Some of the content I have on there, like tips and tricks and stuff like that, I can tell these people are not that into tech. And I can tell by when I do a MacBook Air review and some of the questions they're asking me, it is impossible for them to be full-time 24/7 watching tech or into tech or even at that medium level that you're talking about. These are just everyday people. And I know that you might think like, listen, here's the best way to explain it. The YouTube audience is so big. It is. Look at some of the video numbers that people get on a tech video, and then look at the comment section. The enthusiasts are going to leave a comment, but the everyday person might not want to go down into the comment field, but they might be looking up iPhone review.
Mm-hmm.
They might. I think a lot of people do look up reviews nowadays.
I think so. Why don't we can't do this now, unfortunately, because we're stuck at home. But, and I literally have done this. This is why I know this to be true. I stood in a Verizon store and watched, and I bet none of the people in chat who are disagreeing with me have done this, but I have watched and listened to what people said as they walked in and how they were completely unaware of the latest Samsung phone, the latest iPhone. They don't know any of these things. So the presupposition that people are searching for this stuff assumes that people search for stuff before they go to the store. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people do, but a lot more people don't. And all you have to do is go down the street from your house as soon as that's legal again and ask any neighbor who's walking down the street and say, when's the last time you looked up a review on your phone? Most of them are not going to know what the hell you're talking about. So there are a lot of people doing that, but more people are not. That's my point.
Yeah, and you might be.
I mean, there's no way to argue that because you can literally know how many people. YouTube tells us how many people are on.
I do think there is even saying that, and you're probably right. I do think there is a large segment of people who would watch tech content, who would watch reviews, who might come for an opinion,
sure,
and they might not necessarily be the people who are liking your video, who are commenting on your video, or subscribing to your video. but there is still a large segment of that audience. I think I attract a pretty decent number of that audience, to be honest with you, based on some of my analytics that I look at. And I've talked about this with Travis before. But yeah, I know people in my personal life who aren't that into tech, and they will still go on YouTube and watch for a review.
I'm sure they will. They're one of the many billions of people that are logged in or even not even logged in, as YouTube tells us, every month. But there are more billions that are not. And that's my point. It's not a matter of, are there a lot of people and even a lot, wow, we got a lot of people watching right now. All right. It's not saying that there's not a lot of people who don't do this. There are a tremendous amount of people. And everyone who's in a GadgetCast live stream definitely knows those people. They know those people because they're watching a live stream of two guys talking about some silliness on a Sunday afternoon. There are billions of people who have never heard of Greg or Travis. That's going to change here in the next couple months, but billions who have not and will never. And that's my point. That's my only point. That's all I'm saying. That's how did we get here, by the way?
Listen,
how did we get here?
And we're going back to Walt's. We're going back to Walt.
Okay.
We're going back to Walt's thing where he said, "Don't talk down to people," which we both agree with, right?
Yeah.
Because
I agree with that.
Might be invested in other things that you're not invested in.
100%.
They might not be
100%.
They might not know about the latest laptop, but they know how to save your life. Whatever, with like medical equipment or something like that, or whatever. They might know how to cook. And listen, I'm not subscribing to any cooking channels, but every once in a while I'm like, yo, I need like a really good recipe to impress someone. Let me go, search for a nice little recipe, bada bing, and I get it and all that stuff. So I think there is a large average audience out there. I think hey, you
know what, Greg, this is the point where we go, you should leave us a voicemail. Let us your thoughts so that on the next GadgetCast, hear what you think. This
is divisive, I know. And listen, Travis isn't the only person with this opinion. I'm not the only person with my opinion. I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree, because I think we could both argue this till we're like dead.
That's how you get a podcast going. Look at this, the 140 people watching. That's the thing. So if you're interested in giving your points, we would love to hear them. You can let's
revisit this. So
yeah, of course.
Why don't Travis is absolutely right. Why don't you get in contact with us one way, either through the email, through voicemail, through whatever way you want to contact us. All that stuff will be in the show notes. All of that should be in the video description as well. If you really want your opinion heard on this exact topic, we will definitely come back and revisit it. We want to hear your take, because maybe you're this audience. Maybe you're here. Maybe you found us somehow. You just love the sound of our voice and you're like, oh, I like these guys. You're not a everyday consumer. So yeah, let us know.
Love it. I love it. That's what GadgetCast is all about. We get to get in here. We have a lot of fun, but we also get to talk about that stuff. Look at the chat is bumping. For those of you listening on audio podcasts, half of you are waving your fist at your phone and going, "What is happening? What's Travis talking about? What is Greg talking about?"
You can yell at me or Travis anytime.
Literally,
it's available.
But at the end of the day, it's all love. We all love the people that support us, and we definitely love talking about that tech. We need to leave a little bit here for our after show, and we need to promote. The people need to come to the YouTube channel. So it's youtube.com/GadgetCast. And then we're live. Now, we did a special show on Thursday. If you missed that, it was really an appreciation for the people that watch and listen to us. And we will definitely do another one of those again. We don't know how often we're going to do those midweek shows. If you guys like them, let us know. I mean, I was open to it and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, people were asking about taking questions now, so I think we have to. I promised people we would at the end of the show. So we're gonna
all right.
I promised people. They were like,
all right.
I need to get on and I need to talk to Travis and Greg again. I'm like, end the show. Type end of show. Just wait to the end of the show. Maybe they're not here anymore, so we can skip this completely. Yeah. And then midweek, we might have to come back midweek. Who knows? Can
you make us come back? That's the real question. Make sure that you leave us a voicemail if you feel like we need to come back and talk about that. So we're going to do an after party. If you're listening to the audio podcast, that's enough for you. Sorry about your darn luck, but that's okay.
Hey, for real people listening on, in the live stream and on audio, if you like the show, please leave us a rating as always in Apple Podcasts, or I don't know if any other podcast clients do it, but go ahead, leave a review, and also hit the subscribe or follow button on the podcast client. That way you can also stay up to date with us. And that way we can we got it. We're up against the biggest tech company out there, so you got to help any way you can.
Listen, there's no way this video, this audio, and this YouTube video doesn't get 1 billion views and 1 billion downloads. We should be number 1. Watch what happens when Apple suppresses us further and they try to cancel me and Greg. It's terrible. Anyway, that's enough for this week. I'm Travis. He's Greg, and that was Jern. We'll see you next week. All right, that was fun. That was a game.
James just added me. Like, it's weird that people like watch this and it's like they're not subscribed to both of us already, and they didn't consume every single video we did. So James, go watch every single one of my 300 videos, and I want a nice report from you. Send it via voicemail, and I will, tell me what you think of the channel. Some classics are the Apple stand video, and that's it. That's the only good one.
Ridiculous. Tech for Your Needs actually asked a question I've answered before. 10 years from now, how do you see tech becoming? For me, it's wearables. And I totally wearable AI. I 100% have said the next thing is not a phone. It is something else and probably wearable, likely. Look at these. We got them fired up. We got Viper fired up. Are you done messed up now?
What?
We're going to be on to other topics by that point. Viper, it's going to be too late. You're going to have to come.
I think Viper's here to yell at you. I saw him agreeing with me in the chat, so I think
that's all right. Listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if someone agrees with me or not. It actually doesn't matter. I don't need anyone to validate me. I know I'm right, so I don't need to be validated. It's unnecessary. I know I'm right, so it doesn't matter. There are more people who don't watch YouTube than do, and anyone who says otherwise is silly as hell. They can't possibly believe that. Unless they believe the earth is flat too, in which case we got some problems. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm not subscribed to you both separately, but I'm subscribed to this show. Well, that's interesting. Now that's interesting. How did you find us then? That's what I want to know. How does that work?
Probably from Jern's, though.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe probably so.
That's true.
Yeah, the momentum's gonna be canceled next week. We need to know. Yeah, because we're not gonna worry too much about that. Like, no vanity in that house. Speculation in Galaxy Fold 2. Too damn much money is what it's going to be. By the way, my air conditioning is not kicking on because for some reason my Wi-Fi is messed up. I'll be right back. Hi. Talk to these people, Greg. Hold on.
Hey, people.
Yeah, talk to people.
All right. Hey, what's going on, people? My name's Greg. I make tech videos every week, and I have a blast doing it. If that sounds like fun to you, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Everything I talk about will be in the links in the description below. Peace and love. Peace and love.
You're not funny, Greg. I had my Bluetooth headphone and I heard the whole thing. You're terrible. That was terrible. That was really the worst thing ever. Stop it. Ridiculous.
Oh, that was funny. That was a good one. I made myself laugh. I made myself laugh with that one. That was me. That was personal. That was personal.
Yeah, just great again. Oh, terrible.
See, they liked it. They appreciated it.
Yeah, it's good. No, the other thing is you gotta remember, like,
I just delivered it in the most deadpan possible. I took all your energy and just took it away. So that's if you ever want to see a boring person do Travis's intro, there you go.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Now you know how good Travis is.
Raphael talks about what the release for WWDC. I don't know that we really know. I think we're just waiting. So Jern has always said that a lot of the products that are ready are they could ship at any time, and he's literally waiting to hear. Like when he wakes up every morning, he's waiting to hear. I can't wait to hear what Jern says about this show. He's gonna text us. If he gets to that point in the show where we talk about that, he's gonna text both of us. So Greg and I are in a chat with Jern on iMessage. And oh yeah, Greg, do this real quick.
Oh, okay, hold on. And we're gonna talk about it right after this.
Okay.
This is you listening to Greg.
I don't know what to say about that, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap.
Behind the scenes stuff, I've thought about parodying Travis's intro for a very, very, very long time.
You should
and
do
if
it.
If I ever did it, I was gonna do it exactly like that, like really unenthusiastic, and I was just gonna steal the song in his intro, and then when it goes, this is, you listening to, instead of Travis, I was gonna put like an X over Travis's name, and I was gonna like really obviously poorly dub in Greg. Maybe one day I'll make it happen.
Oh my god. Oh, they have. We know we've never shown on the after. They've never seen that YouTube video you made. Most people haven't actually.
Yeah,
we could literally double the amount of people who've seen it if we show it real quick. You want to show it?
No.
You made it.
That's like we need like to hit a milestone and we show it. I'm
okay. That's fair.
We're holding hostages now.
10,000 or 5,000 subscribers.
Yeah, 10,000. Why not?
10,000. Okay.
Or 5,000.
That's a good idea. 619. As long if I can remember, I will. I'll try to remember. That's really good. After party finally has more viewers. Finally, people are staying for the after party. It's about darn time.
Where it's at. The regular show sucks. You should stay.
I know, right? Oh, this is the best guy. This is the best. This is the best podcast ever.
Hey, I cannot. I'm so bad at name pronunciation. I apologize. It's with an M with the VR headset.
Oh yeah.
Listen, you need to go listen to the latest episode of Recycle Bin. John actually talks about this. He was fielding questions from the viewers, and he basically kind of tells you about the AR glasses. And he says it's going to be a first generation product. So kind of lower your expectations a little bit, but it's still going to be like a cool product. But I really go listen to that Recycle Bin. It's available on all the podcast platforms, just like GadgetCast. And yeah, he did a good job explaining some of the things. Obviously, he didn't explain everything, and he's trying to work on getting everyone a video to see. And if he can pull that off, wow. And you could kind of hear though behind the scenes though why that's taking so long. So go listen to that.
He was already on the show. He had his own little segment.
He was on. What did you come in late? He was on. You missed him.
Okay. How do I do a Greg? What do you say?
I go, hey, what's going on, everyone? Greg.
Hey, oh yeah. Hey, what's on? Oh, hold on. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Greg here, and I got another thing about some Apple stuff that's going to take you to another level, and you're going to love this stuff. But before I do that, my sponsor is Paperlike. Paperlike gives you the feeling of writing on paper with your iPad Pro. Please click the link in the description below. And listen, guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, you should smash that like button. I know you don't say that, but still. You should smash that like button. And Mom, I know that you love Travis more on GadgetCast, but please, please, please don't forget that I am your son. End the scene. Hello, world. It's Greg here. We're just going to go back roasting each other. Oh.
Oh man, what are we doing?
We literally are just sitting here being silly, and people are watching, which is crazy.
The show needs to be canceled. Let's be honest, people.
After this episode,
I should have just said the show was canceled instead of the fake canceling I did at the beginning. I should have just officially said it's dead. I wonder if people like listen to like the audio version of that and they'll be like, oh no, they're canceling the show. I can't listen anymore. And then just like turn off and like forget to like ever catch up on the episode again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I don't know. I guess there's no more. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, anyway, we can do a couple real quick. One question goes. I guess a lot of people like that. We'll do that for a couple minutes, and then I gotta get some stuff done. I actually have some other stuff I need to do. So we'll do it again. We've done it a couple times. Please do not make me wish I did not do this. Wait. Do you think Apple will cancel 120 promotion of the Pro model? Well, we're going to find out right after this. I think what I think what people are saying is true. They're going to try to make it work. If they can't, they'll pull it. I mean, it works, but like to the Apple standard. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Have you heard about 13.5?
No.
I haven't, but Brandon Butch on Twitter and YouTube is a really good guy to ask that question. Tell him I sent you. He's a really, really smart guy. He does all the iOS updates. Brandon Butch. Jern's banana sandwich. I would never try his banana sandwich. Why would I try Jern? That sounds terrible. Why would someone? That just sounds very sexual, and I'm not interested.
Oh, do you know about the sandwich?
I don't, but I don't know the way he asked the question.
The mayonnaise sandwich with banana.
Oh, with banana. Yeah, I don't think I can do that.
Why do you want me to change my background, Will?
The background's cool.
What's wrong with the background? I like
Zolotech follows both of us and has actually said on Twitter that he really liked our interview with John. So Zolotech is number one with us. I forgot Zolotech does do the same thing. So Zolotech for sure.
Yeah, Zolotech.
Zolotech is in the house. God's old podcast. Love it.
All
right. Is everyone?
That's awesome. I gotta intro it like that next time. This is God's own pie.
Dude, you're gonna get us canceled with all the religious people. Stop that.
No,
all right.
I think the religious people like it. Like,
maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Let's we'll bring people in. One question go. For those of you that are new, you come on, you ask one question, then I boot you. Now I've been really nice about this. I'm not gonna be so nice from now on. Literally, you're asking a question. I'm booting you before we answer. Because I have a feeling with this many people watching, we don't usually have this many people watching when we get to this segment. There might be a lot of people. I don't know. So we're gonna do one question go here in a second. But wait, hold on. Can you talk about these fake AirPods? Very surprised. Oh, so Backlash. I have seen a lot of the fake AirPod Pros, and I tried to convince Greg to do a video, but he's afraid of them. He's afraid of the fake AirPod Pros. He really is. Okay, here we go. Here goes the link. I suspect we'll see Viper.
Yeah.
If he's still on the live stream, not steaming.
If we don't, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I actually would be disappointed.
He seemed to be fired up, and he's like, "Send me the link." So
he is so fired up.
I think there's more people watching the after show than the regular show, which is weird.
That's like not in
that's history.
It's yeah. I mean, listen. Here's the thing: no guests, just me and you, and that really says a lot. So I'm super impressed by how many people are here. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, first one up. Jackson's up. What's going on, Jackson?
We can talk about anything, right? Like,
yeah, but correct.
What's your guys' opinion of like your best SSD or hard drive?
Okay, what's our best SSD or hard drive? I like the Samsung SSDs. They're actually really good quality. There are some really inexpensive ones out there right now, and they tend to fail over time. So I stick with the brands, and I like Samsung. What about you, Greg?
Man, is this internal SSD or external?
Bro, just answer the question.
Okay, so I use a bunch. I use SanDisk and Samsung. They have both treated me really well. I also use if you have a Thunderbolt 3 enabled computer, OWC, Otherworld Computing, makes a external SSD that does Thunderbolt, and it's like as fast as like an internal drive. So I recommend those if you're looking for like speed for like editing on the drive itself. But yeah, the Samsung series, you can't go wrong with that if you're looking for reliability and speed. Either the regular models that are cheaper and they're lower speed, or the M2 ones, which are super fast.
All right, Nick on the turd. What's going on?
Hello again. It's Nicholas.
Hi.
Opinion on the Anker Soundcore Liberty Air 2 and iPad Pro 2018 or 2020?
All right, great question, because I can answer both of those questions, and I think so can Greg, at least the iPad Pro thing, because we've talked about this a lot. I have a lot of Anker Soundcore products. I love their products. The Anker Soundcore Liberty Air, Liberty 2 Pros are incredible. I think they sound better than AirPod Pros, and that about half the price. Pretty much all their products are great. As a matter of fact, these are Soundcores. You will be seeing some things soon. But yes, Soundcore products are great. The Liberty Air 2 Pros are amazing, and for the price, good to go. As far as the 2018 for 2020, we've talked about this, Greg, but what do you say?
It all depends on price, what you can get it at. I just saw a tweet today. They're like, "Oh, great deals on the 2018 iPad Pro," and it was still like $100 difference between that and the new one. And honestly, for $100, I'd probably just get the new one because like it has more RAM in it, and I feel like it would just be like supported like another year with software updates. That's just me though. I would say if you can get the 2018, like $150 off or more, I would go for that one because it's not that big of an update, especially if you don't care about the camera stuff, which I think most people don't.
Double of the O's. What do you got? 3, 2.
Might be muted.
You're not muted.
Oh.
You got 1 second left. Booted. You either talk or you don't. I ain't got time for no crazy people. Let's get that GadgetCast logo on them headphones.
Interesting idea. Backlash. Interesting idea.
Taco overhead joint. I did Amazon renewed. I got 2 pairs and the charging failed on me. Over the head. Over which ones? I hope you wouldn't get the Q10s like these because these are like $30 to begin with. I would never buy these renewed because they're $30. Spend $30 to get them renewed.
I'm a big proponent of Amazon renewed, but I don't think I could ever buy like headphones renewed. I don't know. Sorry,
Victor, I couldn't hear you, buddy. Come back in if you can. Try it again. Maybe your mic was messed up. I gotta move through these because we only got a little bit of time. But I'd be happy to come back in. Come on back in. Yeah, you were muted, I think, is what was going on. But well, no, you weren't muted by the thing. I think your mic wasn't working. So try it again, buddy. Okay, we got a little bit of time left, not much. So if anyone else wants to join, I'll put the link in the chat one more time, and then we're gonna finish her off.
Did I see the people that were asking me to come on? Because I better have seen every single one of you.
Right? Because where's Viper?
Yeah, I saw people in the show like I need to come on. I need to do it.
I don't really like tacos that much. If I'm gonna have Mexican food, I like burritos.
Doesn't like.
I like burritos. Shut up. I like burritos.
I like both.
Yeah, don't buy these renewed, man. Get them new. They're like $30-$35. These are legit. They're absolutely legit. Still waiting for my answer. I'm sorry, Tish. What'd you say? I missed it. I'm sorry. Yeah, see, everyone's looking for Viper. Viper canceled himself.
Hell, Viper.
Viper was talking mad stuff, and he's nowhere to be found. Where is Viper? Everyone get on Twitter real quick. Tell him we're running out of time. He's got an opportunity.
Viper. Where's Viper? GadgetCast. They have the link open. Why aren't you here?
All right, 619. What's going on?
Hey, favorite and least favorite iPhone ever.
Oh, that's a good one. What do you got?
Man, that's a thinking one. I don't know.
Well, my favorite, obviously, 11 Pro. Oh, what's interesting? This is going to sound dumb. When I had the iPhone 8 Plus, I really I can't even tell you why. I loved that phone. So maybe the iPhone 8 Plus.
I think my favorite one is the first iPhone I've ever had, which was the 5S. I know I'm not that cool. I didn't have like one of the originals. So I think I would go with 5S as being my favorite. It was such a cool experience owning that phone. Least favorite would probably be the 6 Plus. It just didn't have enough RAM, and the RAM management issues after like a few, like it was just made apparent. Like there'd be like the apps wouldn't load up correctly. Like the 6 Plus driving that 1080p display with the one gigabyte of RAM, it just no good. So, Steph, what's going on?
Hi. What advice would you give to someone starting a YouTube channel?
What you mean, like a phone?
Or a tech YouTube channel? Sorry.
So you mean to shoot your videos, or just in general? Like, what do you mean?
General advice, like starting it up.
What kind of? I want to make sure I understand so I can answer the question properly. Are you asking for a phone or like camera equipment and all that stuff?
He says general advice about starting a YouTube channel.
Oh, advice. I thought he said like hardware. You didn't say hardware. You said advice.
Advice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, Steph. Let me try to answer your question. I apologize for that because Greg doesn't know what he's talking about. All right.
I'm the one who heard it correctly. Sorry.
This is true. His hearing is better than mine. Okay, good question. First of all, don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. You should totally do it. You should totally, absolutely 100% do it. First of all, you got to buy a GadgetCast shirt and wear it to rep out. That's the number one thing.
Yeah,
number two.
That's the number one thing. If you don't do it, don't bother.
Number two, and this is a real hack, and I'll tell you my story. I know Greg maybe can tell you something similar. One of the first tech reviews I did, well, it might have been the second exact review, was a product that was laying around my house already. I didn't have to go buy it. I already had it. And it, to this day, is still my #1 most viewed video. So you don't have to necessarily go out and buy a bunch of tech. And as a matter of fact, nowadays, my videos that I don't own the tech get more views than the ones that I do. Greg, on the other hand, just buys a bunch of laptops.
Yeah. So if you want to be successful, buy a bunch of laptops. No. Was he talking specifically about a tech channel or just general advice, though? I don't know.
He just said general advice. I thought you said you heard him.
Yeah, but you went on like this tech thing.
And then I kept asking questions that would have answered the question that you just asked me. So go ahead and answer his question. Go ahead, Greg. Figure it out. Swim in this. Swim.
The number one advice is you have to do it for the love, not for the subscribers, not for the views. Definitely not for the money when you're starting out. To be honest with you, you're probably going to lose money when you're starting out, especially if you are in the tech field, because every once in a while you're going to want to review a product. You're going to be spending money on it. And when you're first starting out, it's not going to pay. No matter what you do, there's no way you can get it to pay. So you're going to have to go into it. You're going to still have to work your full-time job and do whatever, especially if you're running a tech channel. But you just got to do it out of love. Travis is also right. If you are doing like tech channel or commentary or something else, you don't have to buy every single product, which is, and you also should have focus. A big problem when I first started is I thought I needed to be like a 10 million subscriber channel. I thought, oh, people won't take me seriously if I don't review every single device that comes out on the market. And when you're a one-man team, it is literally just, it's impossible. Forget if you even had the money to do it. It's literally impossible to cover all those topics at once. And that was a pitfall I started. I got into that pitfall. And I eventually, it just led me to not wanting to make videos because I thought, oh, there's no way I could compete. So eventually I got out of that pitfall. I narrowed my focus a little bit, kind of covering devices that I already own and use. And like Travis said, don't be afraid to make like a commentary video every once in a while because those will get more views than sometimes actual reviews. So it's kind of weird how that works out.
The most popular person who's ever come in. You're back. But you're muted, dude. Very nice. Came back. Did it again. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming on through. Okay, Greg 2D. We love that. Most popular person ever called. Yes. I love gaming. I don't get to game as much as I would like to. I really love retro gaming. I do have a Twitch and a Mixer, but I don't stream onto them very often. I need to. However, Greg, on the other hand, does.
Yeah, I have a Twitch channel. I think it's in the show description, at least on the podcast. It's Greg Station. I love games, but much like Travis, it's just like when you get like older and stuff, man, it's like hard to find time to play games. But I love games. First of all, the first thing I want to do on YouTube was start a gaming channel, and I quickly decided that's no good because talk about struggling for views, man. There's so much gaming content. I just saw that Mr. B started a gaming channel, and I was, you know what? You just get popular enough one day to where people will follow you for whatever, and you just start a gaming channel. That's the strategy. That's the dream.
I know a little bit of behind the scenes of that, and it was very strategic the way they've been doing that.
I'm sure it is, but still.
Yeah. Having said that, what an incredible live stream. I'm so overwhelmed. I can't wait to see what the downloads look like tomorrow. All of y'all are amazing in so many ways. Yes. Greg and I are obsessed with this show. We love this show. Again, I think I've said this before. I kind of love this show even more than my channel at times. I think Greg might be able to say the same. I don't know.
Yeah. I love my channel. My channel is really nice. I love GadgetCast though. It's so much fun doing it. I love GadgetCast. I love it.
There's not as much pressure.
Yeah.
I think
it's no pressure. No pressure at all. I just get on here. My mouth starts moving and that's it. Just go. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Well, anyway, thanks everyone for joining us. We will be back again next week. We may have a midweek thing, so make sure you have the notification bell on for this channel, just in case we do it.
The only way I do a midweek show is if I see like Skip Topher is absolutely right. He's got it 100% correct. I don't like any of my stuff, and he's right. I don't, he's got the inside knowledge. He must be a Greg fan because that's 100% true. So Skip Topher might be the biggest Greg fan in this chat because he knows me pretty well. Listen, if you want us to do a live stream and stuff like that, I better see those voicemails like flooded, and I will feel like obliged, like, hey, I gotta come on. Emails or voicemails, especially for that topic we discussed about earlier in the show. Do average people watch tech videos on YouTube? Really hit it up. Give us your question, or give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah. And the way to get to that is on our Anchor page. I think if you just go to gadgetcast.net, it'll take you to the Anchor page, and then you can see it from there. So link should be in the description.
I'll put a link in the chat too.
Yeah. So anyway, we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again real soon. Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace, love, and hair grease. We're out.
Bye.